Hey, Jess, how are you?
I'm good, Jason. How are you?
Great. Welcome back to The Edge of Now, episode 3.
Wow. Wow. Are we doing this right? How's the podcasting going?
I think it's going good. We got some feedback that we were a little too personal last time, which
We're a
the
bit chatty.
fact that anyone feels comfortable giving us feedback means it's a win. So let's not get and there's no personal talk today.
I will save all the rush talk for later.
Yes, they can join the Friday Now of Work digital meetup and do any of the personal stuff. Got it?
Yeah. We'll nerd out on this
All business.
one. Okay. I'll try.
Speaking of all business, it's back to school time. Have you seen the posts of everyone holding the signs, back to school, time to go back to school, et cetera, et cetera?
I was sort of yesterday, let's see if it's still up on my Instagram. I humorously posted that no parent, right now there's not one person on social media who can believe their child is starting any grade. This is the time of year everybody goes, I can't believe he's a 5th grader, he's a 12th grader, he's off to college.
It is. And I want to talk about that for the podcast today, because I think we're all going back to school at the same time. It's school season for everyone right now. And it's probably one of the most important back to schools. Alex is, not to get personal, but Alex is going off to school at Elon next week. I'm going off to start College of Charleston my semester next week. So everyone's going back to school.
That is true. This year, Jason, I will have 3 high schoolers.
Good luck.
12th,
Good luck.
9th. Yeah.
So let's talk about school and how, based on, once again, Edge of Now, that school's probably changing. And when we say school, it's school for K through 12, it's school for college, it's school at work. It's really, we should probably say learning and education, and what we're learning. And education is probably the way to phrase it. And that, like, this moment in time is causing everyone to rethink what they should be learning, what skills they should be gaining, and how to gain those skills.
Yeah, I'll do a yes and. I hope it's changing. I think we're still quite far behind. I hope enough universities and learning institutions and all the way down to grade school, to be honest, are giving more guidance than you probably have so far. Please tell me there's guidance on how students are even supposed to approach learning these days.
Yeah, so I don't think there is spread equally. Let's just say it. Let's just put it that way. I think that there are people who are more forward. There are people who are AI pilled. You've heard that phrase, where it's like, hey, guess what? AI is everything.
Yeah.
And then there's people who, I think, where we should be thinking about is, what do humans really need to be good at now? What do humans really need to be good at now? And I think that's changing. And I think all of us need to look in the mirror and say, it's okay, it's changing. And now, when I say changing, that doesn't mean everything is wiped clean and we're starting completely over. I said it's changing.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think about that?
It is interesting. There's so much, there's AI advice everywhere.
Well, forget the AI thing. Do you agree we all need to go back to school?
I do. And when I say there's advice everywhere, I think it's okay, because I think we're all trying to talk through it together in all of the various ways, whether you're posting on LinkedIn or you're recording a podcast like this, or just in your daily conversation, trying to figure out what all of this is and what are we still good at, and what does this mean for how we learn, how we express ideas. Does everything need a watermark now? We'll talk about that. It's okay if we're being clumsy, if we're making attempts at these conversations, and if we're trying to redefine where human value comes from and how it gets expressed. Yes, we're all learning, and that's the point of it, including about how to learn.
Do you think that's where we should start? Like, everyone, and I know that's going to be weird for a teacher to say to the kids, hey, guess what? We're going to learn together. Hey, guess what? We're going to try things. Guess what? This isn't going to be scripted. Guess what? There's not one answer to everything.
Yeah.
Like, I know it varies by age, but I think that's important for work, for sure. I truly think it's important for college.
Yeah.
I think it's important for high school.
Well, it goes back to, kids saying, why do I need to learn algebra? It's not the point of knowing the answer to that specific algebra problem. It's the fact that you've learned how to learn, how to problem solve, how to break down a problem. Math is a great example because there are lots of different ways to get at a number. So I think that's the whole cognitive development process that is the actual value in learning algebra or learning
Yep.
Spanish or whatever. And I think it does beg a lot of questions around what's the point of an answer? Is it the answer itself, or is it that we've learned how to arrive there? And if there are different paths there, is it learning how to learn? I think so. When young kids say, do I need to go to college anymore? What's the value of a degree? All of those questions. I do think learning how to learn is the skill itself.
So all of that being said, like one of the things that drives me crazy is I feel like people are waiting for a like a switch, and all of a sudden we're going to go from black to white, and we're going to wait for AI to get to a certain point, or we're going to wait for something. And I think it's really important for us to all be like, dudettes, whatever you want to be called. Like the world has already changed. Like, literally it has. Like, most people aren't starting first drafts the way they used to.
Right.
Like, just like most people aren't going on using Spotify the way they used to, or most people aren't, like, the world continues to change. So last week, I got a little bit, I don't know if you got any, I got a little bit of grief for using the word singularity. And I used it for fun last week, and singularity, so really quickly, Jess, the definition for singularity, just because I had to do some work after I got some grief. The technical singularity is the hypothetical point at which AI becomes capable of improving itself so rapidly that the resulting technological change becomes extremely difficult for humans to predict or control. So
And
that was a lot, but
that was a lot,
but let's just get to the let me read the end. The resulting technological change becomes extremely difficult for humans to predict or control.
Yeah.
And so one could argue whether we're there or not, which I said last week. I truly think we're there, but that's open for debate. I don't want to debate that. But the thing I'd like to come back to this week is, does it actually matter when we reach it?
Oh my gosh.
No, wait. Does it actually matter when? Of course it matters.
Okay. Yep, I'm going to stay with.
Before you get all like, oh my gosh, yes. Like, does it actually matter when? Like it's all happening. So we need to be evolving, and it's not like a dramatic threshold or things like that, but work and learning are changing all around us. Like, it's already happening. Knowledge is available on demand. AI is generating ideas. But I think the thing that we have to now say is, if we're so busy waiting for the singularity, are we missing the fact that all this stuff is already happening? And let's think about, what do we learn and how do we teach as this is happening?
Okay, I'm going to try to behave within the conversational parameters of what we want to talk about here. I do want to say I sort of hate the inevitability of that statement. It's already happening. Even the fact that singularity is inevitable. It's already happening. It's happened. Models are already escaping their sandboxes. We're just not hearing about some of it. Some of it we are. Like, I hate the inevitability of this is all happening to us. We're not even holding the pen anymore. I don't want to argue with that right now. I think that is an important conversation to have. But I will agree, I'm going to behave here in this conversation. I will agree the genie's out of the bottle. This can be a very good thing. I do think we're still holding the pen on some very important things. And I think the point of what you're saying is a little bit of agency. Understand the role that we play in this new environment and ecosystem in a good and positive way, so that the change is happening for you, not to you, and so that we can figure out how to pace ourselves alongside the good and positive things that can be happening. If we sit back on our heels and wait for instruction, full and complete guidance, sort of a how-to manual, we will miss the entire window of opportunity. I think that's where we'd like to go with this conversation.
No, exactly. And once again, just not to do a yeah, but, or defend myself. I'm not saying that it's controlling us. I'm just saying it's really important that we look in the mirror and realize it is happening with us, around us. We
Yeah.
have an opportunity to work with it before it works on us. And that's what I'd like us to start to think about is how do we I mean, it takes a long time. We've talked about this before. AI is a revolution. To move people along is an evolution. And that means we start moving like at a pace that humans can evolve.
Yeah.
Right? Which means we need to start evolving what our skills are that are going to be more important going forward. And
honestly, that's the design principle. I wish I can and will spend the next year dying on this hill. And that's the design principle you just said without saying it. I do believe that systems can and should be designed for ultimate human value. I believe humans need to net in a positive way out of anything we do. If there are some losses along the way of achieving major gains, I can math that out. Most of us could math that, but it's the fact that we owe ourselves sort of that core principle. Humans have to win here.
Yep.
Or what are we doing? Which means if we believe that we have to design human value into the technological revolution that's happening, we have to understand what that means, what that requires. We need to self-educate. There needs to be a level of understanding so that we can hold the pen, literally.
So let's talk about that. So when all of a sudden, which is not all of a sudden, but let's just say it's all of a sudden, like information, basic production become abundant.
Yep. Cheap, abundant.
Yeah, abundant.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. And
better than cheap.
Then what are the capabilities that become the most valuable? And, there are people that call these superpowers, which I don't love the whole superhero theme, et cetera, et cetera. Like, what are the things that are durable? The things that are going to hold up going forward? And to me, that's what we should be focused on teaching. And then teaching the discipline, whatever it is, marketing, sales, theology, et cetera, whatever we do on a day-to-day basis within those durable skills as a framework.
Yeah. So I haven't even told you this yet. Just yesterday, a friend of mine who works for a tech company owned by a PE firm sent me a screenshot. The PE firm sent out a list of resources to all of their portfolio companies. Hey, here are some great AI resources to get caught up to speed. And guess whose podcast was in the list? Your podcast episode on curiosity.
Wow, interesting.
You're in a list being distributed.
Good. I'm glad. I mean, that's why we do this. That's why we do this.
About durable human skills. You guys, these are not technical skills. I think we spent a hot second in this thinking about AI native, young people, Gen Z, AI native people and they are so powerful, so valuable because they've never known anything different. They sort of come with these preloaded dispositions, skills. They don't have to train on some of the stuff the rest of us have to sort of pick up along the way. I think that's fine that we spent sort of a hot second in that way of thinking. I actually think the most valuable skill is expertise. It's expertise with curiosity, malleability, sort of a humbleness and a hunger. Like humbleness meaning I don't know everything, but I do know a lot. And I know how to apply it in context. That's judgment. That's wisdom. And so I think I think we've done ourselves a little bit of discredit by saying, well, I've been around forever. old dog can't learn new tricks, these young pups coming up. No. Please reverse mentor then. Apply everything you know, all of your expertise, your judgment. Somebody knows what good code looks like. I promise you, 100% of code is being generated by AI now. Oh my gosh. Marry those people together, please. Like that's the superpower, I think. When we combine all of those durable human skills, lived experience, wisdom, judgment, actual expertise in context, that sweat equity, and then apply that to all of the upcoming tech that makes all of these things multipliable at scale. That's where I think the superpower language belongs.
So, question about that is as the world continues to evolve, and one of those durable skills to me is the ability to adapt.
Yeah.
Right. So, as doing everything you just said, as things are going 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Because expertise, fine, but it's not once a year expertise.
Right.
It's not once every 10 years expertise. What you know today, you're still going to know tomorrow, but it may or may not be applicable.
The context changes.
Yes.
But I still know how to apply it in new context.
Yes, exactly. So I was with an organization this week where I had the opportunity to talk about these skills in a keynote, and durable skills and why it's so important. And there were about 5,000 people there. And one of the things the CEO said, and it's kind of funny because it just wasn't on the slide, he said, I think the most important one is curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about that, to me, it gets really interesting when we start to think about how do you teach this stuff?
Yeah.
So, like, is there a book? Is there a book on curiosity? Like the way we've always taught.
We need to write it.
No, the way we've always taught, and the way that, as someone who teaches, is you create content, you turn it into a course, you then give a test, and then it's complete. And that's like a training module per se. And whether the module is 45 minutes or a semester or whatever it is, it's a module. But I think that we're moving into a world where we develop those things via repetition. Like, how many reps do we get? It's kind of like we were talking about, let's say we wanted to be better at badminton. The way to get better at badminton is to keep playing it. And the first time you're gonna suck. The second time you're gonna be a little bit sore. The third time you're gonna get better. The fourth time better. Fifth time better.
Yeah.
It takes practice. It takes feedback. It takes reflection. So, is the way we teach today able to? The way we teach today, can I just all of a sudden apply that to judgment, taste, critical thinking, curiosity in an easy way? And what if, this is a lot to ask you all at the same time, what if the future of learning isn't transferring knowledge? What if the future of learning is creating experiences that actually make people better thinkers?
Yes. I love where you're going with this because I've used similar language when I talk about endurance racing, training for endurance racing. The whole point is that hard things don't get easier. You don't train because hard things get easier. If you train because you get better at doing hard things. You learn what to tap into. You learn how to manage your resources, literally. So I love where you're going with this. And honestly, with 3 high schoolers this year, I don't think enough guidance has been given in terms of how to learn and for what value. So my biggest problem with the way models have been created so far, is that they're not, I don't know that they're doing a good enough job of teaching us how to think, how to ask better questions, how to arrive at our own answer through a path of critical thinking. And it's literally a prompt machine. All we want is an answer. And there's no quality control score on whether or not that was a hallucination, a decent answer.
But do we want it to be perfect?
No. I think you've heard me mention her before. I kind of geeked out on Vivienne Ming earlier this summer when I heard her speak. She created a model, literally her own, like, little tiny lab model she generated, tested the heck out of it. And it was designed not to give a single answer, not one single answer. All it did was ask you questions back. And she tested it on a small group of people. They all hated it, literally gave it like hate scores. We hate this. Well, and guess what happened to their cognitive ability and the quality of their outputs? Everything was multiplied, was better in terms of the quality of output and the actual quality of thinking and teaching people how to think differently and better for improved outputs. That's the right way to, if I were a professor, that's exactly how I would teach a classroom. That's the way we have to think about this.
So, so let's think about a funny term, because I explained, as you know, I hate scripted stuff. Like, I hate it, And as someone who gives a lot of speeches where they want scripts, oh,
Yeah.
when are you going to do this? When are you going to do this? Like, or courses even. Like, I think learning this and learning these durable skills is messy.
Yeah.
Like, excuse me, I don't even know if that made grammatical sense, what I just said. I think it is messy. Those skills are messy. Like, you have to practice and you have to give people a stage. And like, when I've been doing speeches lately, I'm not doing speeches alone. They're immersive experiences. And the reason we called Now to Next a studio
Yeah.
was we wanted people to go into practice.
Yeah.
So,
Co-create, co-develop, co-everything.
so traditional learning, or traditional, that's not traditional, right? Like, oh, I got 72, therefore I get a C. I got 86, therefore I get a B. Like, everything about all these systems, even like, this goes back into measures of adoption, which I'd rather not talk about, but we can. Like, yes adopted, no adopted. Like, I don't know if there's right and wrong answers to some of this.
I'll protect the innocent here, but I spoke with a client, a partner of ours, yesterday, and they shared with me a little backroom conversation that happened between two executives talking about AI transformation. They're doing a lot of work and investment and doing all the right things, bringing the workforce along. And along those lines, one executive, this was sort of like the inner battle. One executive sort of used the analogy, like, we haven't even described that we're asking people to swim to the deep end of the pool, but we haven't even described the deep end. They don't know where it starts, how deep it is. Are they supposed to do laps? Like, we haven't even painted a picture of the deep end, and we're asking people to swim there. And the other one countered, two executive peers, the other one countered, I don't care where the deep end is. I want people to know how to swim. I think that is so brilliant. That's the skill.
Yep.
The skill is swimming, whether you're plucked into the ocean, you're over in this pool, this pool is going to switch all the time. The water is going to change. The pool is going to switch. Do you know how to tread water in any conditions? That is the skill. When I think about bringing up my own young people, if I were to think about stewarding a workforce through turbulent times where there's trust, pitfalls, where models are escaping, there's a lot going on. We just need to teach people how to swim at this point.
But once again, I want to be careful. Teach people how to swim, but yet then be with them while they're in the pool.
Yes.
Does that make sense? I mean, so what this looks like in organizations to me, and I made a list, and because I used it last week, and I'd love your thoughts on this, like a decision lab. Like, give people a real world scenario and have them work through it instead of teaching them how to prompt. Or an AI critique session. Like, create something with AI and then throw bullets at it, or throw bullets. Sorry. Throw darts or throw tomatoes at it. Or, like, after we did something, how could we learn from it? And this is I can't even believe we're talking about this, because it sounds so basic, but like, learning through real work instead of learning how to use a machine, I think it's the biggest thing that organizations are struggling with today. And I wish I'm going to say this, and it's going to get me in trouble. I wish we'd stop leading with prompt engineering.
Yes.
Not that it's not important, but I think that the what am I trying to do, the why am I trying to do it, the once I do prompt, how do we shoot, whatever the word, whatever, how do we shoot holes in it?
Yeah.
Things like that, and keep the human at the center and the human at the helm. That, to me, if we could be teaching that, I think that everyone would be so much further ahead with AI than teaching people how to AI. I think teaching people how to AI is not about AI.
That's the point. Right. That's why yesterday I wrote a Substack at the time of this recording. So on my Substack, I wrote about LinkedIn's new feature, and they're not alone. LinkedIn has a new feature where users can report each other. I can be looking at somebody's post, and I can go to the 3 dots in the upper right corner of their post and report it as, this looks like AI slop.
Why?
Exactly.
No, but seriously, why?
Hang on, follow me through here. A couple of weeks ago, I think this is fairly recent, Substack also announced a new partnership with Pangram, where you can run a piece of writing through their detection tool and detect what percentage of the Substack you're reading was generated by AI. So these detection tools, for LinkedIn, it's human detection. Reporting each other is not the way to go here. Even on so all of these platforms where content can be generated and hosted and distributed are coming out with, first we were in this like, everybody's behind, why aren't you using AI yet? We actually had prompts within the platforms themselves. Would you like help writing this? Now we're doing away with all of these AI assistance tools and replacing them with detection tools. You guys, we've lost the actual plot. We have lost the plot here. I beg you, please pause, which is why I wrote about this yesterday. To your point about decision criteria, like, what are we actually policing here? Are we policing the quality of a human idea? I don't know. I think if we talk about decision criteria, what am I reading? What's the point of this? What idea is being articulated? And can I see that there was some judgment applied here? Is there a thoughtful process behind this? Are the sources that are cited well attributed? Can I see where they came from? This is all valid research. Literally, it's like, are we going to ask people to say, by the way, I ran this through spell check, which was a machine learning model 15, 20 years ago, by the way. I ran this through spell check. I had Grammarly correct some things. Then I used AI to edit it. Like, I understand we're trying to keep the bots at bay, and I understand the need for transparency and attribution and copyright infringement. I understand all of the arguments for this kind of transparency. I fear we're missing the actual plot. Are humans sharing with each other good ideas, well-supported arguments? Are we attributing and crediting the sources of these things? Have we lost the art of knowing how to engage in dialogue and conversation? Probably, because the models made it too easy to spit and spew things without much correction or judgment applied. But this is like an overcorrection in my mind. And so if my kids go back to school and everything, and then just this morning, Claude announces the watermark. They're going to watermark, hidden, undetectable to the human eye, a watermark on anything they've touched, even if it's not fully generated. Even if you put something you wrote yourself into Claude and said, proofread me, it gets a watermark. Like, this is craziness, you guys. So how are actual kids going back to school? What are teachers, professors going to tell them? Use it to research? Don't write in it, or write in it, but then clean it up so it looks like I literally have no idea what direction is going to be provided when we've given all of these learning tools to people with no social contract around quality of thinking, source of authorship, none of it.
It's really, did you just call AI a learning tool?
If you read if you read Mark Zuckerberg's AI manifesto, he thinks it's the greatest learning tool of all time. And we all have super tutors in our pockets
Which,
now.
by the way, I was not questioning you. I actually agree with it. But I'm glad you called it a learning tool and not AI.
If this is all framing, right? If this is all framing, and if we're going to frame it that way, and if we want to glean value from it in that way, then you have to give guidance and instruction on how to use it as such. Do not slap wrists and shame and label and like all of the things like shame on you. You learned this, you used this as an assistant. I thought that's what I was supposed to do. That's literally what all the people of the world are doing right now. I thought that's what I was supposed to do. Now I'm in trouble for it.
So that gets us to this interesting discussion around adoption.
Ah, yes.
Right. And everyone pushing for adoption. Yet then there's all these messages like, well, should I adopt? Should I not adopt? Is this cheating? Is this not cheating?
It's like
why
adopt,
is it?
look like you don't. Look like you didn't use it.
Right. So for me, like one of the things I struggle with adoption. So first of all, I worry that we're looking for little improvements.
Yes.
Way too much. Like
Someone's
going to say like, my job doesn't feel much different. Well, guess what? I'm not sure you're going to feel it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we have to, I don't think we can look at every single thing and say, okay, my job now is this much faster or this much more efficient. Like, I think that we're so used to measuring things that way. And I think that a better question is, am I or is the organization more capable because of the way I'm working?
Right.
Like, just stop there. Like, am I making better decisions? Yes, no. Am I, back to what you just talked about, learning faster? Yes, no. Am I as an organization developing better leaders? Yes, no. If all of a sudden you said the goal of AI is to develop better leaders.
Oh, yes.
Like, whoa, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, sorry, I didn't mean to get off track there, but where I'm trying to get to is, first of all, is there one metric, adoption, that I should be using here? I know the answer, but I'd love your thoughts. And then second of all, like, is it I know it's not the only metric, so I'm not going to even ask it. But what are your, all these people still measuring adoption? Like, we talk about a lot. I've used the term embodiment. How do we embody working in a new world of work? And then someone told me that's too complicated, which, sorry. I could just say, how do we work in today's world? Like, stop thinking about adoption. But, like, what are your thoughts on that? Because then it gets us to where do organizations go, which I want to end with.
I think we're starting with the means and rather than the end. I think we have to define the end goal. I think we have to define value. It depends on whether your organization intends to grow and evolve and develop new products and services and enhance your customer experience and develop the workforce. Like whatever impact and value you're trying to create, spend more time than you probably have defining what that looks like and how. Not even how you might get there, because that's the next part of the conversation you get to have, but literally define what that looks like so that people have that clear. Again, I feel like everything we say is like so rudimentary. Literally define value. Then probably the conversation you've skipped is reestablish the social contract around how that value is achieved. How we participate in work and define contribution. Are you like, for example, do you care if I have to labor intensely for 80 hours to get to an output the organization considers valuable? Or does it matter if I got there in 2 hours? Well, does it matter if it's 100 people or one person? Like, I think we're obsessing over the means to the end without defining, listen, this is where we're trying to take the organization. And we think we can get there in all of these ways. That's going to require these resources and this capacity and this level of investment. And then you back your way into the answer. Eventually, this becomes about, we think it probably involves using tools like this. But instead of saying, listen, everybody log in to a platform today. okay, are we successful now? I've logged in. What should I do here? Like we can't start there. We have to start with painting the picture of value and then provide the resources, create the capacity, develop the resources, human and otherwise, that it would take to achieve that in a sustainable way. And eventually you're going to get to, yeah, you should probably be using this and using it effectively in these ways. And we're going to reward and recognize you as such. Start at that end of the problem.
Yep. No, I completely agree. So the back to school season,
Yeah.
right? So like I tried to put together something. I'm going to read a few of them to you and just tell me what you think. Because
Okay.
I think so back to school for leaders.
Mm.
Instead of leaders telling people to use AI, how can leaders say, what capabilities does our organization need more of? Not what
Right.
technology do we need people using?
Yeah, capabilities we need more of, and specific outcomes I can influence or own. I would love
Yeah.
to just see team like organize people and tasks around outcomes, outcomes, outcomes. Not this is we talked last week about disrupting job descriptions and role profiles and that kind. Who cares? The tools are going to change. The tasks absolutely are changing. Be more specific about the outcomes that need to be achieved so people can feel resourceful in how they get there.
Well, and as you know, we're building now to next, quote unquote, out loud.
Yeah.
Um, like I don't know if you agree with this, but that includes as leaders giving people space to
Yeah.
experiment and reflect instead of transact, 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 transact.
Mhm.
Right. So then if we think about HR leaders or learning leaders, which we have a lot of people, like there's a lot of people like this session I was at, they asked, how do we build courses? Like to me, I don't think it's a course. To me, it's like what experiences would help people build these capabilities.
Yeah.
And that might not take the shape of a course.
I think it's more capacity and culture. You have to create an environment where this kind of learning and experimentation and sharing with each other, live labs together, like that's very much a culture thing, but it's also capacity. The thing that's really ironic about AI is that our biggest brag about AI is the efficiency it
Yep.
creates and the productivity gains. Well, where is all this extra capacity going? Because most of the people I know who are becoming proficient with AI are doing it on top of their day jobs as always defined. So
Yeah, no, I agree. So you have
tap
to do
their
both.
own capacity so they can learn more and do more.
And I've tried to create my courses for this semester to really focus on instead of like if AI can find the answer, which it's not shouldn't be an if, AI can find the answer. My point is going to be to get people to prove to me the thinking behind the answer.
Yeah, show your work.
Right. Which if they can do that when they enter the workforce, they're going to be a much, much better off. Um, as parents, this was the other thing that I hit on because everyone that we speak with are also parents.
Mhm.
Like what did I learn at school today? That question, like it always drove me crazy when my mom asked me. And then I think I asked my kids. Actually, I tried not to. I tried to ask what their roses and thorns
Mm,
were, which I didn't. I tried not to ask what did you learn because it drove me crazy. But to me, I was like, what if you asked what's something that you wondered about?
mm,
Like what's something that actually like got your brain thinking like why does this happen this way or why do we do it that way?
yeah.
Or like do you know what I'm trying to say? I don't think that
Totally
it's
do.
I
Yeah, I
I
totally.
I think it's the responsibility of parents to start to prompt
Mhm.
in that way. Not prompt AI, but prompt the discussion in
Yeah.
that way.
So around my dinner table, that game is called High, Low, New. Tell me about your high today. What was your low if you had one? And what's something new? And it doesn't have to be something new that you did or learned. It could be you made a new friend, you had something different at lunch. Like it can be so mundane. It just gets the conversation going. The other thing that it does is teach presence. Sit here and talk to me for a second. I wish. This is a parent speaking in public right now. Schools, feel free to take phones away. Don't just say, you have a no phone policy. We all know that doesn't work. It's next to impossible. You just get caught with it enough that they take your phone for the for the rest of the class hour. Please take phones away. Unless they are being used intentionally as a research device for complete, like, I think we're missing presence. I remember one of my favorite classes in college was an ethics class, and the teacher had us organize our desks in a circle and literally create a huddle, a gathering, so that we could look at each other. Put your notebooks, your textbooks, everything away. And it was a well prompted conversation that left wide open space and airtime for anybody to say nothing or to finally say something like, well, what if, or what about?
Yep.
Like, the whole point was creating. Sometimes I'm kind of nerdy when I say creating a container. It's a very thoughtful way of creating that kind of space and safety, and then letting presence take hold. Be fully there, eyeball to eyeball. You talk about curiosity. I talk about sort of a humbleness and hunger to learn. You have to also remove any distractions or barriers to that process, letting it be what it wants to be.
Yeah, no, and I think that, we talk about this forever, and there's not. I mean, the reason I love talking about this, and one of the reasons I hate talking about it, is there's not one answer. So, like,
No,
we're practicing it as we
the
go.
conversation is the practice.
So,
Yeah.
at a just in closing, I was at an event last night, and someone asked me, "Could you talk to my kid about what they need to know?"
Mm.
And I like it. It still irks me 20 or 12, 18 hours later, because I think we're in this world where, like, good questions are going to become more valuable,
Mm.
taste becomes more valuable, judgment becomes more valuable, curiosity and learning become more valuable, because the answers are already there. It's like, what do you do with the answer, or what do you do with the content, or what do you do with the options? Like, that's what's so important. So I think, instead of what does your kid need to know, it's like, what kind of thinker do you want them to be? What kind of learner do you want them to be? And instill that. Because I think that if you're going to chase the no on the donkey, well, that's pin the tail on the donkey. If you're going to chase the no, like, what do I need to know? I don't think you're going to catch it.
Yeah.
You look totally lost with my
No,
donkey
I was thinking about
analogy there.
my yoga teacher yesterday said she always ends with some salient point that you're like, what did she just say? She said, the whole secret to living better is to live a better life. I'm like, I'm not sure. I think you just said the whole point of football is to score a touchdown. We already know that part. But what you just said, I think it's even more than that. If I were, and I do tell my kids every single day, it's maybe not the point of what you need to know. My oldest is going to be a senior. She's like, Mom, I don't know what I'm going to do. You don't need to know that. I do need you to know who you are. I think the whole point of learning isn't seeking some, like, answers to some secret questions and knowing how to prompt for that. Like, I think the whole point might be to know who you are and what you value. So that becomes what everything else is bounced against. And then you don't sway so easily in the wind when suddenly social media is the best thing
Yeah.
since sliced bread, and now it's horrible for everybody's health, and what have we done to ourselves? And we're doing the same thing with AI right now. If you have a core value system against which everything gets bounced, that answer never changes. You're not seeking anything. You know who you are. I think that is the most salient thing I would send young people out in the world with.
I think that is so wise and such a great way to wrap this up. I mean, this week we're doing our 5 wounds of change
Yeah.
webinar. And,
Yes.
like, we've talked a lot about what we should do and what we should be thinking about. What we're going to talk about in that webinar, and we'll put a link in the notes here, is like, what are the wounds that are
Yeah.
being caused today? And I think we have to take both into account. The what should you be, I hate using should, but what are the things we need to be doing? But at
Yep.
the same time, what are the wounds that are
Hmm.
being caused? And that's the that's the moment we live in, and that's kind of the back to school moment for
Totally.
it's why I think it's the most important back to school in probably our lifetime.
Yeah. And I know wounds sound so melodramatic, and it is. We're using that word on purpose, but think about it as your stance toward change, which is constant. So what is your stance, and where does that come from? Good or bad? We're not trying to correct anybody. This isn't about like getting everybody in a singular, sort of stance. It's
Yep.
recognizing where you are and why, and how you might position yourself more positively for your own benefit and to align to value you're trying to create for your organization. Yeah, it'll be a good one tomorrow.
Jess, we're out of time. We're on
Right.
the edge of now. Exactly. This is
Yeah.
exactly where we are. Back to school time. Please share this. Please pass it on to others that may get value from it. Please there have been so many cool people that have posted that they've listened to this on
I
LinkedIn.
know people are actually listening to us.
Yeah. We're like little kids. But anyway, I'm glad that people are listening. I can say it again. Thank to our sponsor, which we don't have any. But this is a ton of fun doing it, and
Yeah.
excited for back to school, and look forward to seeing all the pictures and photos. And hopefully, you can ask your kid not what did you learn, but what did you wonder about, and
Yes, I
how
love
did
that.
it help you go forward.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jess. Another episode.
We're on to something.
Talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye bye.